That. What a cool name for a camera, like the Black Magic. Sounds like mysterious. All right, just know that's not a video camera, so it's going to turn off every 30 seconds. Welcome to What's Your Voyage, a podcast where we have people on that are up to stuff and we have a chat about the voyage of their life. Enjoy. Alrighty, thank you very much. I'm your host, Hamish McLaughlin-Lester, and we have Pedro on. Now, Pedro, how do I pronounce your last name? Is it Goida?
Yeah, Goidanich, actually.
Goidanich.
Yes, Goida is just half of the surname, and it's being used as my nickname, and my mom and my grandfather before, so that's how
Goidanich is the...
Yes, is the full name.
And what's the history of Goidanich?
No one knows, actually. It's probably from Croatia. Where is Croatia now? But it's like, I'm from the south of Brazil.
Yep.
And in the south of Brazil, we had a lot of immigrants from all around after the First World War I. So in my background, you're going to have like Italian. I'm getting the Italian passport now.
Oh, so you're going to have dual citizenship between Brazil and Italy.
Italy, and in 3 years, Australian. Eventually, I'm going to have...
Can you do triple?
I don't know. Theoretically, no, but maybe yes. I'm going to see. If I have to give up one, I'm going to give up the Brazilian one. So
is that like the weakest one out of them?
Totally the weakest one. So Italy is, Europe. It's always good to have.
EU would be good to be able
and an Australian passport is very good as well. So and I have Italian, French, Spanish. My grandmother, she was from the Galicia. It's in Spain. So I have a lot of mixture. But this nickname is this surname is from probably where is Croatia today. Okay. Probably. But
cool.
No one knows exactly because that part of the road has separated many times.
Yeah, I had a grandparent. Yeah, rest in peace to Alistair. He was my grandfather, and he just went down the rabbit hole and figured out our full family tree all the way back to the 1300s.
Whoa.
Which is pretty wild. Like,
oh, tough job, man.
Yeah, dude. Oh my God. So that was pretty cool. I haven't really dived into it yet because I feel like that's usually what you get into as an
Come on, man. He did a dirty job and you're not even just studying a little bit.
No, I've studied a little bit.
Okay, a little bit.
A part of our Australian history. So we've been here, I don't know, it's a few hundred years.
First fleet.
Shout outs. Oh yeah. So we got Will Twist. He is, here to chime in because Will Twist is, as you already know, part of the voyage. And then we have Bjor, who's a producer.
Yo.
Check it out. So tell us, what do you do?
Okay. As I told you, I'm from Brazil. I've arrived here in Australia 8 months ago now, right? In Adelaide. So I'm an entrepreneur basically, but I graduated as an engineer, and that allows me to get a permanent residence visa here in Australia. So I was in Brazil. My wife and I, we decided that Brazil was, I'm going to say the word, Brazil is shit. So, okay, we have our family, friends, but this is too much. And even
the economy is just hectic there, or the violence?
The economy is like a roller coasters, it's always having fun. You're going up and down every 3 months, but that's not the problem. The violence, there's a lot of things there, right? Like just Juliana, my wife, she got guns on her head like 3 or 4 times in the last year we were there.
Oh my Lord. In the last year?
Yeah, just for you to have an idea, when you decided to do this, they call a skilled visa program. So we start to study...
A secured visa program.
Skill visa.
Skill visa program, okay.
So your skill or your profession has to be in a list that the Australian government released.
And yours was engineer.
Yeah. And then we are here. So you have to do a lot of things to get more points, right? So your age count as good points, your school, your graduation, your English level, etc. So we had good points, but to be competitive and get our visa soon, because a lot of people all around the world apply for that with a lot of points, and whoever has more points, you have more chances to get in, right? So I had to have an upgrade in my English level test.
Is that pretty tough?
It is because like the reading and the listening part, it's a test. So like you learn how to do the test. Of course, you have to have a good level of English, but after you learn how to do the test, it was like I was getting 100% always. However, the speaking part and the writing part, it's someone correcting.
So were you better at listening first and then speaking and then writing?
Listening and writing and reading was the always awesome grades
Easy,
because
yeah,
you can study and do the test.
Yep.
But the writing, it's an essay and etc. And it was handwriting and with a pencil. And man, the last time I handwriting, I was like 17. You know, I was like, I do not even know how to do that. I was like, whoa, what do we do here?
I was literally comparing my writing today to like my father's, and I was like, man, he would have written so much more in his life, and it shows. His handwriting's cool. Mine's like, I look like I'm in primary school. You know what I mean? Like, 'cause I just don't really write.
My handwriting was terrible when I was in school.
Yeah.
And of course, after 20 years, I was not practicing anymore. So it was even worse. And then
it's like that.
But then one passage for you to understand what was happening in Brazil. I remember I was working a lot, and we are going to get there where I was working in my company. And I arrived home like 10 p.m. and I say, okay, I have to study now. I have to study 3 hours to get that 3 hours a day or 4 hours a day. I put that
on top of like work.
Yeah, I have to do that. And I called Juliana and say, go to your mom's house. You know, I want to be alone and studying. And the apartment, I used to live there, and we used to live there. It was in a very good neighborhood. Like Porto Alegre, that's our city. Yeah. It's the capital of the south of Brazil. It's Adelaide. It's totally Adelaide from Brazil, right?
Yeah.
Same size, same mind. It's unbelievable. I end up in the same city, but in Australia. Of course, here is better because Australia is better. But imagine that we lived in a neighborhood, let's put like that. I don't know, Unley.
Yeah.
Unley, okay, Goodwood. That was the level of the neighborhood, right?
Good neighborhood.
So it was like, I don't know, 1 a.m. and I was studying. I was really tired and say, okay, that's it. Then I closed my book. When I closed, man, like 10 gunshots in front of my building.
Oh my God. Like a drive-by.
And then I said, wow, thank you, God, for that message.
Yeah, I need to get out of here.
And then I studied more like 2 hours and a half.
Have you ever been like under gunpoint?
Wow, yeah, me?
Yeah, you.
Many times, man.
Dude, I can't get over that. Like, tell me about it. Like, how the fuck did you get put under gunpoint?
Man, look, in Brazil, people kill you to steal your car, and I'm talking about like a ballerina.
So have you had your car stolen in Brazil?
Yeah. Juliana had her car stolen more than once. I gave up on having cars. I was using only Uber. That was the good thing. That was the good thing about a bad economy. Is not a good thing, okay? But like here, if you want to get around Uber, like it's a huge city, it's so expensive.
So expensive.
In Brazil, what happened? Man, the minimum salary is very low.
Like what, like 20 grand?
The minimum salary?
Like 15? 10?
No, man. Let me put it that if you translate to Australian dollars, it's it's like $250 a month.
Yeah. What's that a year? Quick math. Come on.
Man, it's like $3,000. $3,000 a year. $3,000 a year.
Okay, that's not much.
That's nothing.
Yeah, it's not
so
much.
what happened? It's very easy to bring guys to Uber, right? Here in Australia, like, I want to, become a Uber driver. So you have to pay more than, I don't know, McDonald's is paying them to flip burgers. So it's hard because they pay good. So in Brazil, the minimum is shit. So
there's a lot of Uber.
So it was a lot of Uber, very cheap.
And then they can worry about their car being stolen, and you don't have to.
And I don't have to. So literally, I didn't have.
Can you tell me the story? Like, did you get held up to get your car taken, or they like smashed a window and took it? Like,
no, man.
I want to know a story about being held up because I feel like that's a pretty wild thing to experience.
I was in a friend's car and we were having dinner. We had played football when we were having dinner. And then, we were driving home and we were three in the car, right? We were about to let one at home and then he would leave me at home and then go to his house. And he had a good car, but not like, whoa. It was, for Brazil, have a good car, but not something special. And then he was driving, and then, man, we were in an avenue, and one guy almost hit us.
Mm.
And I said,
From the back?
From the back, but like sideways. But okay, no, the guy is just crazy. We are so naive, you know. We didn't realize. When we stopped the car, it's like it's 1 second. It's then comes two guys. One guy staying in the car. Comes two guys with guns. Man, it's like I was in the front.
And then you're like, I'm done.
No, it's like hands up, hands up. And I say, okay, can I take mine? You can take nothing. Just get out. And I say, I have to take my seatbelt off. Then I say, take the seatbelt off with the gun here. You get out, man.
That's so hectic.
How about the police? Are the police corrupt in that sense? Like, what do they do about it?
Talking about Brazil, the police is very corrupt in Brazil. There are the good cops and the bad cops, but man, corruption is all around. The problem is money. Like here in Australia, if you become a cop, you're gonna get a very good salary. In Brazil, they get shit money, man. And what happened? When people think about dangers, these kind of things is easy, right? These go for the rich neighborhoods. What happens in Brazil in most of the parts is that you have slums. It's like favelas, they call, right? So the inequality, like the poor people are so poor, and who has money has good money, but that different, the gap is so huge that you can't find here. So what happened? Those guys, they live everyone in the same neighborhood, and then all the traffic, drugs, everything goes there.
Yeah, they got slums.
Yeah, but then they get a lot of money because who use drugs? Playboys. It's all around the road. Your friends or whatever, they're young, they have money.
Yeah, they have money, they buy drugs.
So they bring the money to those places, and who becomes the king of those places? Who becomes, is the drug dealer, the kingpin, I don't know, there, and then they create the parallel control. So there are a lot of places in Brazil that police cannot get in. There's a rule. Wild. If the police get in, they smash the police.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Pablo Escobar stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. Totally Pablo Escobar stuff. That's welcome to Brazil.
Yeah.
Civil war all around.
Sounds similar to South Africa, like with all the
Brazil
walls and stuff, guarded security cameras and stuff like that.
Like Brazil and South Africa are very similar. The difference that in South Africa is, in Brazil, this gray area here, it's more mixture. It's more easygoing. In South Africa, there are places. What do you mean the gray area? Like the rich guys and the really poor guys. There's a huge gap. But this gray area here in Brazil, people somehow still get along. But in South Africa, there are rich neighborhoods where they put walls, literally walls. And it's not private. It's like a public place, but with walls. It's like,
that's weird.
Yeah.
I guess it's needed though. So let's go back to like how you went from engineering to now being an entrepreneur. Like, you obviously chose engineering for university. Did you always want to be an entrepreneur? Or was that like a bit of self-discovery that led you to being like, yeah? Yeah,
man, I'm going to be honest. I'm 36 now. So it's a different generation from you guys. Like I can see it's totally different. I was like, man, okay. I was in a level that my parents said, you have to go to a good university and work in a good company. That was the idea, right? And also it was a transition where the idea is, you have to make work for the government. That I can see here in Adelaide, you have a lot of that mind. Like, I work for the government. And people never stop to think, man, if everyone works for the government, we're fucked. Yeah, right. Someone has to generate something, right? In the end of the day, that money is going to end up, guys. It's not like that. It's not forever. Okay. Yeah. Okay. But then I decided to do engineering, not because, I love it. It's a good profession. You always think like, I have to succeed.
Yeah, it was a safe option.
Yeah, safe option. Doing the course was not that safe. It was very hard. It was very hard, right? So basically, they started like that. I was doing it. I was doing good in the university. I used to do mechatronic engineering. That is robotics. I used to do good. I was not the best. There are guys who was born for that, but I could do it. I was passing through all the subjects. And then one day I gave up because I was doing that and working in a place far away, like 1.5 hours from my city. Yeah. And I used to work like 8 hours a day there, then come back, then study 4 hours. And then I say, man, I'm going to Australia. Then I stopped everything and I took some English class, like 6 months.
Wait, so before you started doing entrepreneurship, you wanted to go to Australia?
Yeah, I was like 22.
Oh, you wanted to come to Australia for that long?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Then I came to Australia 2008, and I
Yeah.
was living in Sydney, and it was amazing. Fuck Australia, man! You guys here in Australia have no idea of the country you have. When I talk to Australian people, you have no idea. I've been around. I've been in America, Europe. I'm talking about the rich countries in Western Europe, America. Man, here is way better. Way better in all aspects. Then I came here and fuck, this is amazing. And as I told you, I was getting, as a student in Brazil, I was working 8 hours a day, but as an intern. They use that a lot there, right?
Yeah,
They
and then you don't really get
qualified, and pay as an intern. And I was getting like $300 a month to work 8 hours a day. And then I came here and I took a job as a laborer in Sydney. And I was getting like $1,200 a week. And I was in Sydney. My life was cheap. 4 p.m. The guy was, let's go for a beer. And say, my God, this is so amazing. Smoker. I would never come back.
Loves a smoker.
I said, I will never come back. Then I realized, okay, then I start to understand how can I do to stay in Australia? Then you start to study, oh man, I had a student visa, it's very hard, you have to become a permanent resident. How can you do that? You have to find someone to sponsor you, but I was a not qualified person because I was not graduated, so I would have to, keep on that forever and say, no, you know what, I'm going to come back, finish my university, do whatever I have to do.
Yeah.
So when I finished, my idea was three semesters later, I finished. My idea was, I'm going to finish that and see how to go to Australia. But as soon as I finished, I was working in a huge company called AB InBev. If it's not the first, now it's the second biggest beverage company in the world. Like half of the brands.
One of those companies that just owns heaps.
They are from Brazil and they bought Budweiser. That's the level. They went to America and say, hey, your biggest beer brand here. That's the level, how big they are. And two friends of mine say, hey man, let's open our own business. But it was like, I'm going to be honest, it was not like, oh, I want to be entrepreneur. It was like, yes, fuck yes.
Yeah,
I didn't know what to do. Something. It was just, yeah. So then I hold back in the Australia process and we opened that company.
Is it a bar? Or you made beer?
What? No.
You're talking about beverages, right?
No. I used to work in this beverage company.
Yeah.
Right? In the logistics part. Right? However, my friends asked me to open a company of software development.
Okay, yep.
So we have an ERP. You know what ERP is?
Negative.
Enterprise resource planning. Every company that's organized and big, they have to have a good, like Salesforce, like SAP. Those are the hugest.
What's SAP?
Sorry?
What's SAP?
It's a brand. It's a company that built probably the biggest ERP in the road, and we had an ERP for a specific market, and we opened that. It was good. We find the first 2-3 good customers, but man, you struggle a lot. Work a lot, no money. Then 1 year later, we decided, okay, ERP is too crowded, and we were still young and crazy. Let's pivot that. We're gonna work with mobile development. That was 2000.
Like on the software side of things. Like making apps?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
But that was 2011, like that. It was very new.
Yeah.
Especially in Brazil, only
Nobody
rich people had a smartphone.
They wouldn't have had those, what do you call it? Like the drag and drop app development apps yet.
Yeah, man, even nowadays the drag and drop is shit. It doesn't work. What happened? Because we started the company and you have the hybrid development, they call.
Development.
Hybrid, yes. You develop in a language, and then that's generate an app for iOS and an app for Android. Till nowadays, this is shit. Every good app that you like to use, it's a native. You have to develop for iOS, develop for Android. And that happens because Google and Apple, they're not friends. So they're not interested to allow people to do something that works for both in a good way, right?
I feel like Facebook's trying to do that with the metaverse, just create things that work everywhere.
Yeah, the metaverse is another subject.
We'll get to that.
Me personally, I think that it's not time for that yet. Like it was Google Glass. Google Glass failed. I believe that metaverse is not going to succeed now. It's not time for that yet, but just my opinion. So just finishing, and then we opened that company. And then in 2012, we decided to open our first startup. There is a completely different road. You have a regular company from a startup. A lot of people don't know that difference, and I didn't that time. It was like, let's go.
So what's the difference between starting your own business, providing a service of software development, and a startup?
So basically, my perspective is like that. A startup, man, every startup is a company, right?
Yes.
You're opening a startup, you're opening a company.
Yes.
Period. Not every company is a startup. Basic. If we decided here that we're going to open a cafe, right? We're going to open a cafe at Hut Street. Man, how is that a startup? Why? There are two things that make that difference. A startup has to work with innovation, and that's the tricky one because everyone loves innovation. The word innovation is very sexy, and everyone, innovation. But most of the people don't realize in the beginning that innovation, especially in business, they come hand with another word. There is uncertainty.
Oh, heavy.
Yeah, and uncertainty is very bad.
Failure.
Yeah, it's not failure, but uncertainty. So like, for example, we're going to open our cafe, right, Will? So we go to Hut Street and we start with, how much the rent here? Man, I need 1 minute to discover the price of the rent on the internet. Then you say, how many people are going to get in here? I don't know. How many people does walk in this street? We spend a day counting. Oh, that many people. Then you go to a similar place and see how many people get in the place from the people who walk through, get in. Then you start to make calculations in 1-2 days.
You create a lot of certainty quickly.
Man, everything when you do a business that already exists, everything from the present and the past, if you have a decent knowledge and if you want to put some working force to do numbers, everything is a certainty. Of course, you don't know if it's going to come another coronavirus or, I don't know, aliens, whatever, right? You don't know the future, but you can predict everything. That's number one. When you do a startup, it's innovation and uncertainty completely. Quick example, right? Airbnb. Airbnb is a famous startup all around the world. Nowadays, everyone knows. Imagine the year 2008, no one was doing that. And the guy realized, no, you're going to get $50 and, I don't know, Muhammad Zalim is going to send you an email. I'm going to sleep in your house, take a shit in your toilet, use your bed, your towels, and here's $50. You open the door. Man, doesn't make sense.
Yeah, a lot of people were pretty off on that idea to start with.
So that's it. That's the leap of faith of the guys. We believe that people are going to behave like that, but they don't know because then you start, okay, how much can we charge for that? I don't know. You cannot look on other things. How much the cost of acquisition of a client? I don't know. We don't know. We don't have client. What kind of places we're going to be able to get there for people to rent? I don't know. So you start a business and what the answers you have for everything? I don't know. Start a business. It's very hard.
Yeah, right. You have to figure it out.
Yeah. Nowadays, it's very easy when people go to talk. See, Airbnb, it's a simple idea that I want to punch people who say that. It's a simple idea because now they don't have the cost of having a building. For example, Hilton. Any Hilton hotel in any place of the world, they are in a prime location. Then they build a huge building in their patterns, and then they train staff and et cetera, et cetera. And after that, okay, now they can start to make money with
huge
3
upfront costs.
Exactly.
Huge.
And when you see like Airbnb, they want to have another 300 rooms. What they do? Google AdWords.
Yeah, right.
So it seems simple. However, to get to that, you have to break a mentality, a whole mentality. What people used to teach to their kids, and till nowadays you teach when your kid is in a level, and the first serious thing that people teach to kids, you don't open the door for a strange person.
Yeah, right.
That's the number
one. You don't
one.
talk to strangers, period.
Is that the number one? And then suddenly Airbnb and Uber. Get in a stranger car. The government has nothing to do that. It's not a taxi. It's not, the police, whatever. And open your door for any guy to get in for $50. So that breaks very hard to do. And how do you get on that?
Well, the peer-to-peer thing, reviews, was like the big thing that created certainty for people.
Yeah.
They were like, well, we trust what a populist thing.
What?
It's now the same as other apps, though. That's the thing. It pays the same commission. We got 15 Airbnbs in the family business, and it's the same as Booking.com. It's the same as Expedia. So they've just gone from being an innovator now to pretty much doing what everyone else does, because hotels have Airbnb listings. So it's not just mum and dad, renting out their garage for side income anymore. Now it's the big movers and the big competitors.
No, totally.
All together in one app.
Yeah. What happened is that Airbnb created the new business, and then suddenly all the others, there's an entire new business that we didn't know about here. What the big players with infinite money they do? They go there, and they do the same thing.
Of course.
So it's a process, but Airbnb had to succeed a lot before those guys. Okay, this is something that you have to pay attention in.
So
like streaming, like everything.
What about you though?
So in 2012, we started that iStartup. That it was crazy. The idea was like we wanted to create like, how do I say, a collaborative way for people to go to nightclubs. Because still nowadays, you want to go to a nightclub, you ask in the front, how is there? And the guy said, no, it's very good. Or, the security guy.
Down there, it's
such a problem.
Yeah.
Oh man, we've got tons of girls in here, guys. Now
Totally. I don't know how is it here in Australia, but in Brazil they used to do that a lot. They keep, when there's hot girls in the line, sometimes they keep the girls, it's full, and they keep just for people who are walking around, there's a lot of girls coming, and then you get in there, and this is shit. So it's
at the start of the night especially, they'll do that.
So our idea is we're going to solve that problem. We're going to have something that people are with their mobiles. Okay, enough the story. The app was beautiful. We put money, we put effort, but no one used it. Like in the beginning,
I would use it.
Look, but that was the problem. And theoretically, I would use as well. But we did a bad project, not a bad software, a bad project. How does that come? Because then you have that idea, right?
Well, how did you find out it was a bad project?
I'm gonna let you know this story. Imagine that we are creating this project here, right? Then we get excited. I could see that Will was, wow, that's a good idea. Then we created. We were like 8 people, and in our room, like 8 months working that before the release, in our room, in our parallel universe that we created, that was amazing. So we put a lot of features because this, and then people is going to do that and that and that. And it was, wow, that's amazing. Then we invited like 30 friends, and then champagne for everyone. We explained the whole thing. I was in a TV making a presentation like Steve Jobs, blah blah blah, and everyone, that's amazing that all these 30 people were using. Then we invited more people. Then we had 100 users. You're amazing, everyone is using. And then let's release for John Smith who lives wherever and you never saw to use that. Then
because there was too many features.
That John Smith downloaded it was like, no one used it.
Was it because there was too many features?
Yeah, that's one of the thing. And when I gave up on the project, I decided to interview 15 people who never saw the project before. And I made a lot of questions. But question number 1 was, what is this app for? And I have like 5 options. There's one that was the main one. The other ones, they could notice. Man, it was like 20% each. Like people couldn't see what we wanted to do with that. Yeah. And when I saw that, I realized, this is shit. So it was a huge disappointment. It was a punch in my face. It was all the money you had, everything, you're so young, everything going good. And I was like, fuck. Then, why, after a while, why that happened? So we started to study, So of course, nowadays everyone talks about like lean startup, the blue book I recommend for everyone who's going to start up.
What's the book?
The Lean Startup.
The Lean Startup.
Yeah. What happened? As you see, startups, they work with uncertainty. So it's very...
I'm saying, Bior, write that down.
Yeah.
Write that down.
So it's very easy, man. It's very easy for you to waste energy. Startups actually is the place are the places in the world where you most waste things. Why? Resources. Because usually startups they bring a lot of intelligent people. Usually they bring young people, and they bring people who are willing to work 18 hours a day. Right? It's crazy. But what's the problem? Because there is a lot of uncertainty and people get, I'm going to change the world. They see Facebook, they believe they're going to be a Zuckerberg or etc. They believe so much in what they want to do that they cannot manage that. And then becomes what I did, what a lot of people do. You go, and suddenly, no one is going to use that. And then you put money, energy, and time. Time never come back. That's the problem, right? Money comes and go. I got a lot of money. I lost a lot of money. I will get more money. That's how life is, right? We're going to die without. But time, your time is one time.
Your hearse doesn't have a toe bowl.
Yeah. So what we realized, okay, you have to study that. So I went to Silicon Valley. I went to see what people were doing with that. So there's basically what people do in that case. You have a leap of faith, like Airbnb leap of faith. It's like, I believe people want to stay in each other's house and pay/receive money for that. That's it, period, right? Then you build an MVP, a minimal viable product, right? You have to build the minimal thing to test if what you assume is true is true.
Yes.
Got the idea?
Yes.
It's different from a cafe, because in a cafe, you have the answer, do people want to have a coffee?
Yes.
Yes, of course. You know that since ever. Yeah. Now, imagine 2008 Airbnb. Do people want to sleep in another person's house in, I don't know, in East Europe, Bratislava? I don't know.
Dude, I'm not going to lie. I have stayed in some sketchy Airbnbs. Oh, my Lord. I remember I stayed in one that was in like Queens, New York, and we got there, like George and I got there like 3 a.m. after taking the L train all the way there. We're like, dude, this is a dangerous neighborhood to be at this time. And then we got there. Yeah, it was shit, but it was good. we slept.
It was an experience, right?
Good.
You end up alive, so it's good. So with that in mind, we changed our company. We have this software house, and that's a different software house. We were, selling hours. Like, okay, you come here, your project is X hours, and we build for you, and that's it. People are doing that since the 70s. Yeah, it was simple because
you were just doing their stuff.
And we are doing this since 70s, right?
Yeah.
So we learned that. And the second thing is there is innovation that I told you of a startup. There is uncertainty. And the second thing, very important, if you want to see if a company is a startup, if you can scale that business.
Yes. I feel like that's a big thing of the conversation now, especially. Because like now we've seen this infinite scalable business models that have come to life in huge ways, like Facebook, it's like, and Google, like there's never been bigger companies.
No.
That have that many customers.
Yeah, no. In numbers,
from a single supplier. That's just never happened.
So what happened with the scale? How do you see, okay, so when you talk about scale, what is that? That's the basic, right? Like every company is scalable. Everyone, our cafe is scalable. Everything is scalable.
To different levels.
Yeah, what is the difference of the local business, a cafe local business, and a huge company that, I don't know, Coopers, I don't know, that sell beer. What's the difference, right? The difference is simple. The local business, they have this revenue in time, right? The time's passing, and they have this revenue this month, the revenues, and they have this cost, right? And they live with the difference. That's it. That's what they do. What's the difference from a bigger company? They were doing that. In the beginning, they realized, now if you open a second cafe in another neighborhood, because you cannot grow here, people are not coming from, I don't know, Brighton to have cafe in Hutt Street, right? So we have to open one in Brighton. So, let's open another. They add more cost, and then they double the revenue. And if they manage that good, in the end up, they're going to have more profit. However, it's more management, more money, more risk, etc. So in the end of the day, a regular company, they grow, but they grow linearly.
Yes.
Right? And the cost grows linearly as well.
Yes.
The difference, if they have good management,
you get economies
make more money in the future. You got money. What's the difference of a startup, right? From a startup and a regular business? A startup has the potential, it has to have the potential to grow exponentially. What is that? At least, quick example, the regular company is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, right? The startup is 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. How does, putting that in examples, right? Again, Hilton, as you told, if Hilton wants to open a new hotel in that city,
linear.
We have to first build, pay money, blah, 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 and now you have 300 rooms to book. Look the cost. You have to bring the cost high, then have profit.
Yes.
Airbnb wants to have more customers. Google Ads. That's it.
But
That's it. Eventually, one new employee in the city, and with one employee they can have like 100 rooms, and with two employees they can have 1,000. That's the difference.
The middleman, isn't it? It's like it's kind of stealing the profits, so to speak, of like consumer to business. They're in the middle. You know what I mean? Like instead of the consumer going straight to the hotel or the person with a contractual agreement, they go to the agent, which is Airbnb.
Yeah.
So
This is totally Will's racket.
Yeah.
So basically that's it, man. For a startup, that's the difference. Just coming back is innovation, uncertainty, right, and scalability. From now on, you guys can go to every business because it's very common that you go at Lot 14 where we met in Stone and Chalk.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about there, but in Brazil, I went to a lot of places like that, and people say, because I have this startup, there's like this, let me see, man, this is not even a startup, you know. People, they open a marketing agency and say, oh, this is my startup. No, man, this is an agency. Yeah. Have you watched Mad Men? They were doing that in the 60s, man. They were just using different
tools.
Different tools and different resources, but it's the same thing. That's not a startup. So first thing, how you separate what is a startup and what is not. And after my failure, coming back, realize our failure, we decided, okay, man, we have to have purpose. It was the first time that I was not doing business for money. We have to have purpose now. What's our main purpose? If we had money that we created with our company, we had skills, we're literally the best software developers for apps in South of Brazil. We couldn't move a step. Imagine, I don't know, Hamish and Will, that they have an idea. What they do? They go for a software house, and the software house, what the software house do? Oh, no, man, that's your idea. Oh, let's put this and this. Oh, that's great idea. Why? Because every time you want to do something bigger, more money for me. We're fucked. I say, okay, let's do our business like that. Then we had this software house that the basic idea is like that. We work in weeks. We sell you a week of our work, right? And we help you to create your MVP. So before you become our client, you pass through a mentorship that I used to give to the guys with my own examples. And then we had a golden rule, like, if you need more than 4 weeks of our company to build your MVP, you're definitely wasting your money. You're building more than you need to. And we are not going to build for you. You have to find another guy who wants your money for that.
To waste your time and money.
Yeah. If you want to build something that we can do from 2 to 4 weeks, and you're going to do a decent MVP with that, and then you're going to put that in the hands of your customers, because then the guy come with the idea, in 2 months he's working. He can have real customers to take real data.
Yes.
It's not from your family and friends. One thing that I always tell George and you guys after I met, okay, because we did that and this was amazing and this and customers. And I remember when I met Tatum the first time, George, and she was doing something. What was you were doing like in the Jeep there? You're raising money for
charity.
The charity. And I say, oh, that was amazing. And I said, that was amazing, but I have one question for you. Is there someone here who is not your family and friends?
Crickets.
Like, is there someone who you never saw beside us? Like,
not really. There was only a couple.
So you cannot count that as like truly amazing, because, man, okay, it's cool. You have good relations, but it's not sustainable as an accomplishment.
You couldn't do it without them, or you haven't proven you could do it without the family and friends.
Exactly. So that's the point. So we put the project in the hand of the customers, and they start build. So what happened in that process? More than 60 startups. I was the product owner for more than 60 startups.
Shit.
In Brazil and in Silicon Valley as well. Man, a lot of frustration. No worries.
60.
That's a lot. Like,
you know, one thing that I used to tell to my customers in the end, because a lot of guys, man, entrepreneurs, a lot of them, they come, it's natural, it's a natural process. I want an app like this. They came with the scope, like, I want to do this. I said, look, man, calm down. We have to discover what's your leap of faith. As I told you about the Airbnb, I believe that people want this.
Yeah, what's your why?
Did I talk about apps, websites? Nothing. I just said, what do you want to prove? Let me build. That's yours. The leap of faith is yours. But let me be your product owner, your CTO. Why? Then I say to people, I truly believe that if you want to do now, I truly believe that you have the capacity to, in the future, be a way better than as a software project manager. However, I did that 60 times. You never did. So I used to tell to my friends, who here did a good one in your first time? Who did a good sex? The first time, you were a virgin, right? And then we went there and it was amazing.
I enjoyed it.
No, I'm not, no. That's not what I'm talking. That's not what I'm talking. It's a good answer. Everyone enjoy it. I enjoy it, right? But did she like it as much as you? What my point is, if you compare from you today, who do you believe that can do better for growth? Hamish today or the first time Hamish did it?
Oh, the first time Hamish. He was hungry for it. He was hungry for it.
Okay, man.
I get you though.
Yeah,
I get you.
Okay, you are an exception. You're amazing, but overall speaking, everyone is not good in the first time. Although you believe you are, no, man, you are not. So what I used to tell people, look, let me help you. I become your project manager. So you did that for more than 60. We saw great things. I saw guys getting sold and become millionaires. And I saw guys like with a lot of money, with a lot of investment, guys who were CEOs in banks and they couldn't go one step ahead. So with that, you start to learn a lot. What does work, what does not work. And of course, not that you know everything, but you create a lot of patterns of how you do things. So
what kind of things you learn?
Well, for example, it's the curriculum of the guy doesn't matter.
What do you? Oh, as in what school they went to?
The guy could be. Oh, he was rich. He was CEO of the fucking I don't know what. He made everything. He did MBA in Harvard and etc. It doesn't matter too much because if the guy comes in with the ego very high, that becomes even harder
because they're not willing to learn.
Yeah, sorry, cut in. Pedro, I've always wanted to know. Like, what's the difference with e-commerce and startups? Like, how could you see the difference?
E-commerce? Yeah. And e-commerce is just a store, but on the internet.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Which one would you prefer?
Me?
Doing a startup or e-commerce?
A startup.
Okay.
Look, a startup is always harder. Always harder. Nothing is harder than do a startup, right?
Yeah.
Because it's too much uncertainty. But and e-commerce nowadays, it's a good way to make fast money.
Yeah, that's what I've been seeing.
Yeah. I'm gonna do e-commerce this year. This is on my plan, just to make some revenue. But it's not like my main business. I want to live doing that.
Yeah, it's not your calling.
Yes.
Okay.
It's just something that you are proficient with.
So then in 2017, we started a new project that was crazy. And we almost changed the road with that. It was then I learned
Joyce?
The Joyce. Joyce was amazing.
So tell people listening about Joyce.
Okay, Joyce, Joyz, 2017. Joyce was born in a single idea, right? I believe that 10 cents can save a life. That's it. Okay.
True.
We have that idea. What do you do now? So what was the problem? For example, take here in Australia, it's even easier. You take 10 cents here, right? Who cares about 10 fucking cents? No one cares. Everyone can spare 10 cents. And if you give to a homeless 10 cents, he get angry and throw the 10 cents in you, right? Even he, 10 cents, he gives you 10 cents, right?
Yeah.
But stop to think, if a million people that would spare that 10 cents, understand that has a value and put that on a box, we're talking about $100,000 that can make surgeries to save the life of one child, two child, three childs, etc. So the challenge was, okay, how can we change that human behavior? So we created an app and we bring some experience from like Instagram for people to understand.
Yeah, heavy.
Yeah, but instead of a like, you give a Joyce, right? So we create this virtual coin that called Joyce, and it worth 10 cents. But we don't talk about cents. It's Joyce. You're giving a Joyce. So in the beginning you say, okay, how do you do for that to work? How do you put people in here? So Juliana is here. She was the marketing strategist that time, and she did an amazing job. We didn't have much money. We have some investors, few money. When I say few, it feels like
When you say few money, just so
200,000 Australian dollars.
Okay, so
Less. In the beginning, it was like 50,000 Australian dollars.
Yeah, okay.
And in the second round, you got more money, but to do a project of that size, it was hard. So what you do, because if you go to Google and Facebook and start to do ads, it's very expensive, and in the end, you don't get so many people. So we tried that, and okay, it's not getting the right people. Because at the same time that we know that there are people that want that, we cannot attract like young guys that want to just, okay, I'm going to give just you to me and we get $20 to have beer, right? That would be a problem for us. And then we decided, Juliana created this. It was like, we spent like a week on Facebook and Instagram finding people, looking for and finding people who had problems, like a mom. One example, in Brazil in 2014, we have the problem of Zika virus. Have you heard about that?
Yeah.
That was whoever got Zika virus, nothing for the mom, but the baby, they was born with the brain the size of, a grape. And microcephaly, they call, right? So we had a huge problem there in 2014. And everyone,
It never grew, or it grew a little bit.
No, the kids are still alive now, but now those moms have 6-year-old, 7-year-old kids that it's hard. It's hard, like man. Vegetables. It's hard for them. So that was 2017, and we saw a lot of, for example, like these people that were on Instagram or Facebook asking for help with that. But on Instagram and Facebook, people are on Instagram and Facebook, to show that they went to sushis, to the beaches, that they have nice bodies,
it's all lifestyle,
that they work out. Exactly, everyone is happy.
Let me pause you quickly. Hey George, can you press play on my camera again, so then when they talk that it gets them? Yeah, please. Thank you. Please continue, Pedro.
And then we realized, okay, and they were on Instagram and Facebook, like humiliating them. Like, please help me, look. All the picture of their kids are the kids, like the moms suffering, It was something like, it's hard. It's like when you're having beer with someone and comes someone asking money. Oh, look, I'm fucked, give me money. So that, this is something that we can change. People can help without being like that,
Yeah, the desperate guy on the social platform.
So Juliana made a list of 100 of those people, and they had to be like between 5,000 followers and up to 50,000 followers. Why that? Less than 5,000, they're too little for us in the beginning, but bigger than 50,000, they're becoming like little stars, and they're like, the ego was so. We made those lists, and then we start to contact those people personally. Look, From Brazil. Yep. We can help you. Let me talk to you. Then we talk to them. Look, we don't have money to help you, but we have this app, Joyce. And how does that work? Then we explain. You get in there, and you start to post pictures constantly and show your day by day. And then people can come and donate Joyce. However, every person who gets in here, we're going to give up to $1. Right? Australian dollar. That would be like 40 Joyce, right? In the time.
Yeah.
You're going to give up if they stay there. And then you just have to tell these people, hey, download this app, get a Joyce, and donate to us. So we make those causes to become our marketing players, right? Because they went to, hey, I'm not asking for help. It's just easy. It's 10 minutes of your time. Go there. So we start to do that. And then we said, we convinced those brands like, those causes like, you have 10,000 followers. Imagine, I'm going to give you $1 for each follower for them to donate. If you convince all of your followers from Instagram to go to Joyce and donate for you, it's $10,000 that you're going to get.
What was the conversion rate you got?
Man, it was amazing. When you did that, things start to scale very fast, and 5,000 users, 10,000 users. And then we start to understand who were our users, right? Because, like, for example, it was women more than 35 years old. Those are the people that were interested to stay there. And then you start to analyze a cohort retention. Where is a cohort retention?
Yeah, the people that you had, how much they use the app.
Yeah, it's like the time, the lifetime of a user in the app. In a product.
Like how were they the first month? How were they the second month? Were they still on it 6 months later?
Exactly. And then you see their profile. So you understand that women more than 35 years old, they were our profile.
Why women over 35?
My conclusion,
Yeah.
because they, number one, women are better people than men. Number one, man, they care
More
about
compassionate,
others.
for sure.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
number two, after they are 35, they're in the age that most of them are mothers, you know.
Yeah.
It's
the
a part like,
maternal vibes are like
exactly
going wild.
like women they start to care about others when they're like 20s. Men, they start to stop thinking about the world as their own ass when they're 40s. So men was the cohort retention of a man was like women amazing. Then, you know, and we did that not with what I thought or you thought or Juliana, it was like real numbers.
Yeah.
Then we start to grow 100,000 users, 200,000 users. Then we realize that's how a startup works, right? Number one in a startup, your first thing they have to do, validate the hypothesis. That's what we validated. People want to donate from 10 cents. From that, people was getting crazy about Joyce. They love it. We love Joyce. Can I buy a shirt? They use the shirt. Man, there's another one in Brazil, huge crowdfunding. They get way more money there. They say, fuck this other one. I love Joyce. It was a branding thing. And then come the number two, validate the business model. How do we get money with that?
Yeah. So how did you get money?
So we said, okay, we can do what a traditional crowdfunding do. Like people buy Joyce and then I take like 6%, 10%. But we decided, no, we're going to use that as we don't take...
we don't want to get in the way of you donating to
exactly. If you go there and buy $100 of Joyce and donate, the person is going to get 100 and I'm going to pay the transactions. So how are you going to make money?
Let me guess. Ads.
It's not exactly ads.
Okay.
Right? We try to put ads, but man, ads is bothering people. So we did like, it was a huge marketing thing because we realized, okay, 96% of the users were not causes, were donors. The donors got so crazy, they start to get there every day to donate 10 cents because they donate 10 cents here, the person will receive a push, then the person say, thank you, you're saving my life. And there's a two-way, right?
There's that dopamine of like, oh yeah.
Exactly.
I'm person.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, that's why World Vision, you know, you get like letters and whatnot from the kids that you donate to.
I'm gonna tell you guys 3 stories that happen, real stories that happen with us, and that you're gonna understand what he did. Number one, the Joyce was in the beginning. We couldn't comment anything. The product was very MVP, and I received an email like, Pedro, you are an angel from the sky that makes lives better. Whoa, man! It was heavy words. It's like I would start laughing. Like, what is that? Then I saw the guy email. It's something that I could print and put in my mom's fridge. Like, hey, mom, look what people are telling about me. Then I saw, who is that guy? Then I went to Joyce, but no one knew that I was like the Joyce founder or CEO, etc. Right? I was a regular user there donating Joyce, right? And then I saw, who is that guy? Then I find him in Joyce, and he was a very, very poor guy in a difficult situation, and he had a kid with cancer, and it was a sad story. And then he started to post every day. And then I started to donate frequently. And I counted. I donate to him 20 Joyce. 20 Joyce is something like putting in
It's
Australian
like $2.
dollars. Yeah, but it was in Brazilian money. It's like 50 cents of dollar.
Okay.
But it was 20 Joyce during a month. So during an entire month, from day to day, he received a message. Pedro Goidanich donated to you. Pedro Goidanich. So how many times people gave to him 50 cents? Hey, okay, goodbye. But what I was doing to him, it was not only money. I was showing him constantly, man, I'm here. I don't need to call you, but I'm here.
Yeah,
I know you're strong. I'm here for you. And that gave him a lot of, whoa, we're creating something powerful. And that's what is interesting about lean startup that I learned how to do. In the beginning, we didn't know that. You know, you start learning with the real users, right? And then another passage that was very, very cool. There's this girl, I don't remember the name, but she was a doctor, and she was one of the researchers that discovered the Zika virus. So she had a lot of money from the government to do, bring the moms, do physiotherapy for the kids, etc., etc., etc. And one day she was there and she talked to Juliana, and she called, oh, I want to talk to whoever creates Joyce and blah, blah, blah. And Juliana, yeah, no, it's good. We don't have too much money yet, but they can use the money to go to physiotherapy. And the girl said, you guys don't understand what you have created. You don't understand. I say, why? Because, all of those moms, they're like 20 years old, 22 years old girls, like that they were on Instagram, they were happy, and now they have kids that, how much a kid consumes from you. Imagine you being poor and have a kid that has a brain the size of a grape, and all their friends are at the beach, putting Instagram sushi, beach, etc. And the social media make them depressed. And then when they arrived here, and I saw all of them on social media, and I say, what happened that you're on Instagram? They say, it's not Instagram, it's Joyce.
Yeah,
I don't care about the money you're giving to them. You're giving to them an opportunity of a safe place for them to be in the social media.
I was gonna say, it looks like Joyce had created a very harmonious community with giving. So it's very attractive. I think people are able to give in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
heavy.
Is that would that be like the idea, like umbrella idea, or?
The first idea the first idea is I believe 10 cents can save the world. Okay. And after that, a whole community start creating. And now how we decide to get money from that? We realized that 96% were donors. If you go to a regular crowdfunding, 97% of the users are people who wants the money.
Yep.
For us, for the guy who is going to give the money, that's a gateway, a payment gateway. You get that, give money, and you never see that again. However, in Joyce, it was the opposite. People who wants to donate, they were getting there every day. We changed that logic. Yep. So what did you do? We said, oh man, we have to test something here. So we bring a brand to test, and we said, okay, we're gonna send this to 1,000 people saying, look, this brand wants to give you a Joyce for you to donate for however you want. If you say no, there's two buttons. No, you keep using Joyce, you don't see ads. If you say yes, you're gonna have to watch 30 seconds, but we always ask the brand to do something related to social cases, and it was not like regular.
Yeah, relevant ads for the platform.
Man, the first test was 97% rating opening.
Oh,
that's huge.
97% rate. Yes, people who touch. And after some people say, I didn't know, I touched the wrong thing, I wanted. People got crazy with that. And after we decided, we made a research survey. How do you feel about that brand? And said, do you like the brand because the brand gave you Joyce? 95% yes. Would you consume this brand because of that? 92. I don't remember exactly, but all the numbers were more than 90.
Yeah, huge numbers.
And then
you have like 1,000 users, 100,000 users at this time.
This time, yes.
Yeah.
And then we start to running for brands, and we got huge brands like Visa. We got Visa as a customer. Only Visa put on Joyce more than 200,000 Australian dollars.
That's great.
That was amazing. And once Visa, they had a program there that they wanted people to how do I say, to make you had to put your name, your credit card, and your everything, all your data there. And with that, they're gonna use that for I don't know why, right? They wanted to do that, and they were trying to do that with Facebook and Google. And then in the second month with Joyce, we received from the agency, your numbers are better than Facebook. We could get more users for them, because what we did is say, look, that's what Visa is doing. It was a social thing too. They would help. But if you get there and do this, we're going to give you 150 Joyce.
As in, if you get there, get to whatever landing page it is and put all your details in, they'll give you 150 Joyce.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's great. Why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah, so we did that because Visa was paying us a lot of money, so we could share that with the users, right? And that makes people very happy, because it's not with the final users, not with the calls, it's with the people who want to donate. So these people,
there's choice. You gave the user choice,
and these people loved, because they said, we know you can buy, but when you can get, they feel better. They feel like they were like pro bono. You know what is pro bono? Like they feel that it's a volunteer work, something like that. And it was amazing, man. We got like 2 or 3 good brands, and
Yep.
things were doing good. However, Joyce had another problem with the investors. We took wrong investors in the beginning.
So
that's
what did
another road of
Well, yeah. What did you learn about, one, how to get investors, and then two, how to make sure you're getting good investors, because shit can go wrong.
Yeah, man. I don't know if I can tell you how to get through because I got the wrong ones, but you always learn with your mistakes, which is important. What happened is that like that, people are so crazy nowadays about getting investors. Man, the real investor is your client. Find real clients. Like I tell, it's
You
better.
say clients, you mean like the Visa or like client
Visa, for example.
Yeah.
Visa. Like in the beginning, it would be better if you had like, instead of the shit investors you had
10 visas.
No, totally. But
Yeah.
in the beginning, it's hard to have 10 visas because the visa doesn't come if you don't have users. You have to build things.
Yes.
However, it's like, it's better. Like instead of take like, we took that $5,000 for a shit investor, right? That was a pain in the ass in for us later. It would be way better if all of us, let's find 10 people or family and friends and get 5,000 for each and say, I'm going to give you that money back in that time. They call the FFF, family, friends, and fools. Yeah. Rise money for, if you need a minimum, rise from these people, like in almost in a personal thing. Because the angel investor got in, man, we signed a wrong contract. I was stupid in that.
And what is the wrong contract?
Because what happened when a startup doesn't behave as a regular company, so they got in the contract immediately. They were partners from zero. That was a huge mistake, right? They shouldn't be. They should be like an investor and with options to be a partner in time, according to the money they're putting.
Things.
If they do certain things, a lot of things happen. But what happened? Eventually, when there was some time that the guy didn't send the money. He was supposed to send this money in the beginning, then indeed, and he was already in the contract. And I was struggling. My God, you have to pay the cost. What are you going to do? Then I used from my own pocket, for example. Then one time I used money from my other company, and my other partners got crazy with me. And a lot of things. And after, when we had to get new investors, and Joyce was getting huge, like Silicon Valley investors were talking to us, they said, okay, how is they structure the equity from your company? When you show, they say, sorry, you're out. Man, that's like going to... Have you guys donated blood before?
No.
Yeah, when you go to donate blood, you there's a first try. It's like, have you had sex without condoms in the last week? Or did you do a tattoo?
Yeah.
And they say, if you say yes for both, or you are out. They don't take your blood. But then comes a fat guy, like almost dying, diabetes and etc. And he say no, they take his blood. And say, man, this is stupid. But it is like, it is what it is. And with investors, the same thing. If your social equity and structure is not in a proper way, because when you take angels, it's not for the business to be profitable. This first money is just to validate the hypothesis. Remember that I told you?
Yes.
Then probably you're going to have a second money to validate the business model.
Yes.
And then you're going to have a third investment to scale this. So you have to be prepared to dissolve yourself through time. And I did all of these wrong. I knew how to do that time. I knew how to do a product.
Solve yourselves as in dilute your ownership status.
Yes, exactly. So what happened is that with the first experience I learned, and then I become very good building the product and how to validate things. And then that experience taught me how that I had to learn how to get the right investors, how to get right investors and etc. and do the company properly before I start the company. So that's why Joyce barely died because of that, because then I had to buy one guy out. Got two of the investors, they start fighting. Terrible
and because
scenes.
they were partners, then they both had a say, and then there was egos, and then when you're trying to make decisions, you can make decisions. And if you're trying to dilute your share to these big Silicon Valley, well, then they wouldn't want to play ball in that.
Exactly. For example, if it's two of them didn't want to dilute, they initial investors, right? So a guy from Silicon Valley say, oh, who is that guy that has, I don't know, 15% of the company here? So this is an investor. Okay, he has to get out. We're going to see how to pay him out. But I didn't have all of this prepared in contract, right?
Yes.
And then I said,
As in there was no exit strategy.
yeah, I don't want to get out. I say, okay, but then we cannot get those guys. Then I went to Silicon Valley. I said, oh man, no worries. I want to keep the business. You can dilute from me. We don't want to dilute you, man, because
Yeah, we want you.
we depend on you. If you dilute too much, you're gonna get bored with this project. You're gonna leave the project. It's a hard process. I learned in the worst way. So I spent like the last 3 years paying one of the investors out and keeping the project alive. It's still alive, but it's like hibernated.
Yes.
And now I'm finishing to pay him. It's cost me all the money I had and more. And now I'm finishing to pay him. And I'm going to have the project back. However, in this middle time, I created another project, which is I am the CEO. So now I'm going to see what I'm going to do. Because
I just want to take a moment to just acknowledge how much, like I can just feel right now how much your heart is in this, and that you have this huge global mission to help people.
Yeah, I don't know if I have a global mission to help people.
Global, right? Like,
yeah, man, it's hard. I'm gonna tell you. Juliana can tell you as well. The energy that you get with that, a lot of people, oh, you're amazing, you're saving, thank you. But at the same time, man, it's the whole day working with people dying.
Yeah, exactly.
Kids dying.
That's why it's honorable, because you're the one.
Yeah, but
that,
consumes you a lot. But in the end of the day, it was not that terrible. What made me crazy is like you dealing with that, and then you went to a meeting of 4 hours of two idiots fighting and screaming because
that's because it doesn't align with like, hey, this is so much bigger than your like bickering.
But guys, coming back to startups, now that I gave you a lot of examples of Airbnbs and etc. and on startups, what is cool for you to understand, and everyone who's gonna listen, if someone is gonna listen,
we hope so.
Look, every startup has 3 moments. So validate the hypothesis, then validate the business model. There we did that. We validate the business model. We can make money with that, because when Visa put $200,000, we put $100,000 in Joyce for everyone to donate for free. So Visa was happy, we were getting money, and the causes were more happy because they were getting money.
Yeah, they were getting incentivized.
So everyone is was doing good. And the third part is how do we scale, right? And then scale. A perfect startup, that the perfect role, the perfect path is doing the number one, validate the hypothesis, then validate the business model, and then scale. Do that in that level is very hard. It's very, very, very hard. It's very hard. What usually startups do? They do 1 and 2 together, or they do 2 and 3 together, right? I'm going to give you examples for you. 1 and 2 together, validate hypothesis and validate the business model. Give me one example, a startup that did that.
Give you an example. Yeah. Well, I feel like mine is like my startup.
Yeah, but let's talk about the big players.
Yeah.
Without scalability is what you're saying. So like you've done something.
Hey, speaking in the mic more, turn it up.
Yeah, turn it up a bit. You've done something, it's viable, but then you can't kind of get to the next level where you might want to employ more employees and stuff like that, lawyers, whatever.
Well, this is a second level that you have to do. This is management, right? Yeah. However, you cannot have a lot of customers yet. First, you have to have like ex-customers that are not your family and friends, real people, and see if that people are enjoying what you're doing for real, with data and with surveys, quality and quantity, how they are enjoying this. And okay, I have a product now, but first you validate that, and you can validate with 2,000 people. You don't have to validate with 2 million people. Validate everything with 2 million people is very expensive.
Yes.
So validate with 2,000 is cheap. If it works for 2,000, and if it's a good sample, this 2,000 people with 2 million, 20 million is going to work.
Yeah, if it's not your family and friends. Hey, I'm a bit loud.
And then after you validate the business model, right? How I make money with that? Because the first thing is that is people wanting to use that? You don't know if you're going to make money with that yet, but you have to know if people want that solution. And lately, you go to scale. So what happened? The ideal world, you do 1, validate the hypothesis. Then you know that, you validate the business model. And then you don't know that, and you validate, you scale, right? What happened? many startups do 1 and 2 together, right? Who is doing 1 and 2 together? Example, Airbnb, Uber. Man, they started from zero. Okay, that's the deal. We take 20%. We take 10%.
Yeah.
Uber is not profitable till nowadays, right?
Really?
Yeah. Uber got a lot of investment, but they're not a profitable business. They're growing. They have a lot of market share. Amazon was not profitable till 3 years ago. They got a lot. Okay, they did that. They started with the business model in there. And after that, they start to scale. Let's go to another city, another city, another city, another city. An example that did the opposite, Facebook, right? Social media. Okay,
Yeah, but they got a lot of people first, right?
no, yeah, we believe that people want to spend their time on the internet to talk with people they already know. That was the social network leap of
So
faith.
they scaled.
No, not scaled. Before that,
Yeah.
people used to spend time on internet to talk to another nicknames. It was not real
Little
people.
MSN, wasn't it?
Yes. No,
MySpace.
yeah, but MySpace is a social network. When I talk Facebook is a social network. So, okay, they validate the hypothesis. Then they start to scale. How do you get money with that? Why they're scaling, right? So that can happen. But one thing, I never saw it. And if you see it, tell me. And that's the hugest mistake I see in my life, people trying to do. If you trying to do the first one and you try to do the first with the third one at the same time, you're going to break. You are still validating a hypothesis. Is someone consuming this? And I want to scale. I want to have 2 million users. Man, I never ever saw that working. I'm waiting for the day I'm going to see that.
So example of like a scaling too early, would that be like maybe buying the rights for a product or something like that, or copyright infringement, going ahead and doing those things before you've tested the product in the market or something?
Quick example, right? For example, me and you, we decided. One example, we were in Joyce, my business, right?
Yeah.
We're in the beginning. We didn't know who were our customer or whatever. And I say, okay, we're gonna do that. We're gonna take the money to take the best server ever, do an amazing app, and then we're gonna pay a celebrity, a huge one, to bring people in. And then that celebrity could bring I don't know, male teenagers.
Yeah, it's not relevant.
And the
not
thing
your market.
would not use it. Our cohort retention is going to be So that's a problem. People, startup stories are too much like fancy and luxurious, and you watch Facebook move and say, I want to have 3 million users from zero. And you don't know that this is a real thing. You have to build steps. You can build that in a month, in a year, in 2 years. That's not the point, but you have to fulfill the steps.
Yeah. So what's your what's the second startup that you're building?
I had a lot of startups in the process.
The one you're talking about after Joyce. You're
Yeah.
saying you're working on a second one now.
Yeah, this second one was not an orthodox one. It was not like Joyce. What happened? The software house, we were building software for startups. And like 5 years ago, the first, it's kind of a celebrity, but not a celebrity. We call people who sell courses on the internet, right? Those people like, learn how to meditate, learn how to get fit, right? This guy was huge in Brazil, and he was trying to have his own app. So he came to us, and we built the app for him, right? And this guy was getting like $1 million a year, and he started to get 5 million a year with his own app because the app was good and etc. And we built like a startup, and this is amazing. Because of this came the second one, and then the third one, and then 2020, I realized, oh my God, we have 7 customers of this area. All of them are alive and getting more money. And the startups customers, they were one dying, one leaving because the startup is more hard. This is like a formula. You do this, and you sell courses. Like people do that a lot of all around the
Yeah,
world.
it's a proven business model.
Exactly. And those guys were already huge. They're not trying themselves, right?
Yeah.
And with their own platform, they're getting more money. Then I realized, guys, but each of them, they have a separate project. And I say, me and my partners, we study all of their business, and we have validated. All the validation was there. It was working. One of them has more than 60,000 members paying monthly to use.
That's great.
No, it's a lady that does fitness. She makes unbelievably money.
Yeah, I bet.
So all of them, we had more than 1 million users to validate. So we take everything we learned building from them, and we created our own project only with the best things because we had a resource to build, and we create our own project in the back end. So now we go to a lot of those guys, now knock their doors. Oh, you're huge. It's time for you to have your own app, but your real own app on the App Store with your name, on the Google Play with your name. That's the app, like this. I'm going to build for you.
It's like what Chris Hemsworth has done with his fitness app.
Exactly. Like that girl that is here from Adelaide. Kayla.
In
the
the
sweat.
Yeah, and she sold for like 500 mil.
Yes, it's unbelievable. 400 American $1 million. Yes.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So this client that I have in Brazil that I told you that has 60,000, she wants to follow the path of Kayla.
Yeah,
She's
fair
doing
enough.
so what happened? We created that and we put on the market like 6 months ago, and now we have 15 customers, all of them getting crazy because what do? We don't charge them money to build the software. To build a software like that's very expensive.
It's like at least like 200,000, 300,000, 400,000.
A software good like ours, $500,000 Australian
Minimum.
dollars. Yes, minimum. So what do you do to them? We're gonna give you for $5,000. What? But I'm gonna take 6% of your sales that you do inside here.
And that is, so 6% of your sales, but are you getting equity as well as that? Or are you just getting income?
No, just income. The company is theirs. We are not partners. We are just a gateway. Let's put it like this. We provide a place where they sell, because there they can put podcasts, they can put video classes. It's like a Netflix. It's as good as a Netflix for the course. And we have a mini Instagram inside where they do community. They subscribers can post. They do live videos inside there. You know, the live video as Instagram, you can do inside their own app. So they get
so
crazy
cool.
with that.
You got to show me.
Yeah, I'll show you guys now.
The only thing we won't have the video of it.
Yeah, no worries. I'll show you
Show
later.
me after, but
I'll show you later.
fuck, that's cool, man.
Yeah,
you're
so this
essentially
is
just
very
creating
new.
And obviously they can add on like, oh, I don't do that, so don't include that function in mine, but I do this and include that function. You have just like this suite of all these different functions that you've already figured out exactly how they work and the ones that are already tested, and now you're just adding more tools based on the clients you get.
Exactly. And now
Sick.
that's the point. We add more tools according to real users. That's what we're doing. But
Pedro, you do cool shit, man.
This one,
I
two,
just
three
have to
step
start
thing.
to doing money now. Making money, not only good shit.
Yeah. No, but look, you've got valuable lessons. Obviously, you know.
Totally. Yeah, that's our journey. And now we are here in Adelaide, guys. I don't know what doing. Just joking. Because when we arrived here, everyone was asking, what are you doing in Adelaide? I said, I don't know, man. No, but
we don't think that. We like Adelaide. Yeah.
No, I like Adelaide.
Some people say that, have that. Oh, what are you doing in Adelaide? Why are you not in like somewhere else or whatever? It's like,
that's why I get
don't
along.
know.
That's why I get along with you. I had to find people that like the city because everyone,
Yeah.
what are you doing in Adelaide? I don't know. I thought it was good, but according to what you're telling me, it's not that good. Come on.
yeah. It's because we've actually like we've traveled and like, you know, you see other countries, like you go to
Yeah.
Belarus and
It was like
You
you
know,
were
it's
saying, right? You didn't realize how good it's like people don't realize how good Australia is because they haven't left.
Yeah.
And
Totally.
I felt that exact same way about Adelaide. Like I've traveled not the whole world, but a fair bit of the world. And it was when I left for university, I went to Gold Coast, and then I came back here in my mid-semester breaks, and I was like, I just saw it with this whole new vision of like, oh my God, Adelaide is actually so diverse in terms of the types of people you get. Like Gold Coast, the stereotypes are strong, and there's only a few of them. Here, you have like a plethora of just different vibes of people, which is it's pretty unique.
You're talking only about Australia, right?
Yeah,
if you get out to see the road,
that's a whole nother.
One thing that Australians, I believe that they don't like when they see they don't like too much is that every time they travel as tourists, and Australian economy is so strong. So the Australian money worth a lot. So you can go a lot of, like, if you go to Brazil now, you can live like a king there.
This is why we like Bali.
Yeah, but exactly. That's why you love everyone. Australians want to live in Bali. Centrally can live it to Bali. But man, look, because you have Australian money. Go to live in Bali without Australian money and try to find a job there. Go to live in Brazil now. Try to find a job there and live there. Then it's a different perspective, you know.
Yeah.
Then you learn that the road is a different thing. Whoa, it's a different challenge.
It's like trying to go to New York and not have like, you know, trying to make it in New York from nothing is not easy.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of city, unless you went there with getting a good job already. If you're just trying to make it from nothing, New York, like it'd be very tough.
That's it. That's it. You want to know, just talking how much we love Australia? Because I lived here in 2008 and 9, then I came back and I met Juliana in 2010, 11, and I used to,
You're like, come to the promised land.
I was like, Australia's amazing, Australia's amazing, Australia's amazing. I've been to America, I say, fuck America, Australia's way better. and then in 2016, she came to visit, and then you're right, this is fucking amazing, let's live there. Then we did the process, and then we got the visa, then we came. The first time we came to live here after the visa was 2018. We went to Sydney, and there was a friend of mine that was completely lost in Brazil, like from university, but he was like, life's shit. He was living with his mom. I say, man, do that. You're a smart guy. He speaks like 4 languages and very smart. Do that. Do you think I can do it? You can do it, man, because I did the whole process and it was hard, but now I know exactly what to do. I help you. Then, man, he did everything in a month. So his visa got exactly at the same time as us, and he came together, and we were arriving, and I said, look, I'm going to arrive in Australia.
Is that Rob?
Sorry?
Is it Rob?
No, Rob later, Rob was this year. Then we arrived in Australia, I say, look, I'm going to kiss Australian floor. The first thing I'm going to arrive there, I'm going to kiss the airport floor. And Juliana, you're disgusting. And the guy was with my friend, do you think that's a good thing? I say, I'm going to do it. If you're going to do it, I'm going to do it too, because, and he never been to Australia. So we arrived, both of us, me and the guy kissing the floor, people looking, those idiots. And she was like, disgusting, blah, blah, blah. Then we were in Australia. Man, he's doing great in Sydney, find good jobs and etc. Life is amazing for him. And we were there in a year. And then Joyce had serious problems there. And say, okay, I'm going to have to come back. And she was, I don't want to come back. I hate Brazil. Then, okay, you can stay. No, I'm going to come back. Then she came back. And now we come back. It's to be fast, like 6 months. So the problem was bigger. I had to stay more, and coronavirus, and they closed all the doors and etc. And then when we finally got to come, she say, the problem was that I didn't kiss the floor. So when I arrived there, I'm gonna kiss the floor. Man, I have a video of her kissing the floor in front of our house. Man, I got jealous. The floor got a kiss. Hey. It was a huge kiss. So that's the level of the country you guys have here. We arrive here kissing the floor.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful, man. All right, cool. Well, I think that's it. I think that's it, man. That's a good end.
If you want to keep going, we can keep going.
Yeah, we'll have you on again.
No, you tell me.
Yeah, I think that's good. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Thank you for inviting me.
Appreciate it.
And I hope my English level was above the subtitle level. So
we'll put subtitles when we put on social media.
Yeah, cool.
All right, play the outro. Thanks for listening or watching to What's Your Voyage. Please leave us a review on whatever podcast service you're streaming us from. Interact with us on social media. And thank you very much for being on the voyage.